This program is supported by GeoMart. GeoMart saves both time and money.
Hello and welcome to Prudent Media. My name is Sachin Chatte and on this show we take a look at the latest releases. Today we will take a look at Thug Life and the new comedy Housefull. Housefull 5 is the type of film that could drive a teetotaler to drink. Even though I saw Housefull 5A as opposed to Housefull 5B, I am certain the outcome would have been the same. Now if you're curious about the distinction between A and B, it refers to the same film but with an alternate ending. Given that there are more characters in the film that one would encounter at the Friday market in Mapsa, they have merely substituted one killer for another. However, considering how mediocrity thrives around us, this is a clever marketing strategy. But otherwise, Housefull 5 stands out as the most puerile, sexist and absurd film I have encountered in a long time. Additionally, there is more skin exhibited here than one would see in Baywatch. The film is filled with double meaning jokes and visuals. For instance, a woman's skirt rises when she raises her hand in response to someone pointing a gun, and in another scene, when the lights go out, a man presses a switch, to which the other character responds, "Ye to meri naak hai." Moments later, the first man remarks, "Ab to mujhe do switch mil gaye, now I have found 2 switches," followed by a woman's scream. Set on a luxury cruise ship named IE in a homage to the villain of the past Ranjit, who plays a wealthy magnate nearing his 100th birthday. The film begins with a murder on board where a masked assailant brutally slays a man, and that is not a bad way to start a film. However, from that point onward, it rapidly declines. We learn that the wealthy man passed away from natural causes but left his will through a hologram, which his secretary, displaying ample cleavage and legs, presents to the board members. Now, the board members are Fardeen Khan, Shreyas Talpade, Dino Moria, and Chitrangada Singh. He bequeaths all his fortune to Jolly, and shortly thereafter, 3 of them arrive with their respective spouses. Jalabuddin aka Jolly, played by Ritesh Deshmukh, then there is Jalbhushan, who is also known as Jolly, played by Abhishek Bachchan, and then there is Julius, also known as Jolly, played by Akshay Kumar, who appear with their Afghani wife, Sri Lankan wife and Nepali wife respectively. A DNA test is conducted to determine the identity of the real Jolly, but tragically the doctor is murdered, following by the suspected perpetrator. However, this is not a case of death on the Nile. Rather, this is death by cringe-inducing scenes and jokes. Additionally, there is a talking parrot named Gucci who sadly meets a tragic fate similar to his ancestor from a previous installment. As the number of victims increases, that's excluding the parrot, law enforcement is called in and 2 British officers, one is called Bhidu, that's Sanjay Dutt, and the other is called Baba, who is Jackie Shroff. They arrive with Khalnayak theme playing in the background. While they investigate the case, their superior, played by Nana Patekar, who serves as the Interpol chief, also makes an appearance holding a bidi and a lathi. It may sound like a zany comedy, but it is not, unless of course you have an affinity for juvenile humor. The film features numerous songs, each of which could easily fund an indie film. The context of the songs is exceedingly absurd. For example, there are lines like, "Yaad hai jab usne London Music Festival mein gana gaya tha," and abruptly then they will transition into a song. Nana Patekar's character discusses Fugdi, the Maharashtrian song and dance, and unexpectedly breaks into a rap prompting everyone to dance. This occurs a good 130 minutes into the film. The objectification of women is rampant. If the characters do not engage in it, the camera certainly will. The only moment of redemption appears in the behind-the-scenes footage during the end credits. However, I would not pay to view that or anything else associated with this film, whether it is A or B. I'm going to go with 1 out of 5 stars for Housefull 5. Watch it at your own risk. And now let's take a look at Mani Ratnam's new film Thug Life. In 1987, the collaboration between Mani Ratnam and Kamal Haasan resulted in Nayakan, which continues to be regarded as the benchmark for gangster films in India and has influenced numerous subsequent films in that genre. It is unfortunate that they did not collaborate again until the release of Thug Life. Regrettably, the outcome is not particularly thrilling. The film resembles a derivative of Nayakan and is laden with many conventional gangster cliches such as betrayal, suspicion, jealousy, and revenge. Several scenes and themes bear the hallmark of Ratnam, including the motif of children being separated, which was used in Dalpati, and it was also used in Bombay when parents are separated from their children. The narrative here lacks originality, and any deeper messages are overshadowed by the exaggerated, stylized action and mediocrity. Regardless of how much one attempts to temper them, certain expectations accompany a Mani Ratnam film. However, for most part, this is merely another gangster film that becomes tedious as it approaches its conclusion. We are introduced to Saktivel, played by Kamal Haasan, who recounts how he has managed to evade death. Unlike Bergman's The Seventh Seal, where the protagonist has a direct encounter with the embodiment of death, Shakti merely speaks of death here. At that moment, it becomes evident that he is essentially invincible and immortal. The narrative that unfolds only reinforces this notion. While we have witnessed gang wars in Mumbai, this time the setting shifts to Delhi. There is also a nod to its status as the power capital dating back to the Mughal era. In a shootout with the police, which is stylishly filmed in black and white, Shakti rescues a young boy whose father is killed in the shootout. The child becomes separated from his sister Chandra, and Shakti takes him under his protection, integrating him into the world of gangsters. During the shootout, we witness Shakti narrowly escape death for the first time. Several sunrises later, we find him as a leader of the gang, sporting a long beard. The young boy Amar, played by Silambarasan, has matured into a young man and serves as the de facto leader when Shakti is not around. The senior members include Shakti's brother Manikam, played by Nasir, and his right-hand man Pathros, played by Joju George, who are not particularly fond of this arrangement. The rivalry between gangs involves Sadanand, played by Mahesh Manjrekar, who has his own family to contend with. Shakti is married and also has a mistress named Indrani, whom he attempts to charm by saying, "Madam, I am your only Adam," whatever that is supposed to mean. Initially, he mistakes her for Amar's sister, but upon realizing she is not, he engages in an affair with her. The film takes its time to establish the dynamics amongst the characters. A misunderstanding fueled by seeds of doubt leads to a sinister plot aimed at eliminating Shakti. Despite being shocked and thrown into a gorge hundreds of feet deep, it is evident that he will survive as his relationship with death has already been established. Alongside him, the narrative also plummets, and when he returns, he becomes a martial art expert during his time away. From that point onward, it transforms into a tale of revenge, reminiscent of many we have encountered before. You can shoot him, you can stab him repeatedly, yet you know that he will return. He even performs surgery on himself to extract a bullet. In Nayakan, the action sequences was supported by the narrative and setting. However, this film resembles any other action movie, complete with slow motion shots and all that. The missing sister Chandra appears at the conclusion, and while the subplot is neatly resolved, it feels like too little, too late. The Maniratnam elements such as a train, whether it is stationary or moving, and in this case there is also weather, where a sequence is set against the falling snow, they are all present in this movie, but the core story needed to be either tighter or it had to take a different direction for the ancillary elements to resonately be effective. Among the cast, Silambarasan portrays the angry young man very convincingly, while Kamal Hassan meets our expectations. However, when his character falls into that gorge, it becomes clear that making a comeback will be an uphill task, both for the character and for the film. On the whole, Thug Life is a disappointment, and I'm going to go with 2 out of 5 stars for Maniratnam's new film. Well, that's what I thought of the 2 films that were released this week. Do let us know what you think, and I'll be back with you next week with more movie reviews. Till then, it's goodbye from me.